Beast Wars was a rebranding of the Transformers line that took place after Generation 2. G2 is often thought of as the redecoed era, when the original toys were just given new paint jobs and Megatron was remade into a tank, because being a realistic-looking gun was no longer feasible, to say the least. G2 had a cartoon series, specifically the original cartoon series, but they improved on it by adding annoying CGI to it. So this was an overall failure, and the decision was made to radically alter the direction by replacing Autobots with Maximals and Decepticons with Predicons, and that they would transform solely into animals. Not having animal shapes like the Dinobots did, actually looking like fully organic animals. In fact, some think they might have actually been fully organic when they transformed because of things like the appearance of bleeding and the fact that Tarantulas, well, likes to eat living things. Beast Wars was supported by a brand new animated series that made use of CGI. I know it's a bit cringeworthy 2 decades later. It's not quite I Want My MTV, but still, it does look a bit primitive. But it should be noted that at the time that was considered cutting-edge technology, and it's really only looking back with today's standards that it can look, kind of a bit crap. But, you can't hold that against it any more than you can hold the special effects issues of TOS against that. I mean, you can't blame people for using technology that exists and not stuff from the future. Anyway, this was a radical departure for the look of the show, a radical change to the basis of the franchise, and a radical change in setting. It's now a bleak, primitive world with just the Transformers who are looking for Energon. Megatron is now a dinosaur, and Optimus Prime was now Optimus Primal and an ape. Well, with all of that together, the show seemed to have a pretty uphill battle. And it did. But it did win over audiences in the end by trying to make the stories more sophisticated, as well as appealing to older viewers by revealing the connection between Beast Wars and the classic G1 series. It revealed it wasn't a replacement to it, it was a supplement to it. Beast Wars is set 300 years after the events of the original cartoon, so these are not the same Megatron and Optimus. During a fight between their two ships, they both wound up traveling through time. I know, it happens. And they crashed on this world full of Energon, so much in fact that in order not to get fried, the Transformers need to spend most of their time outdoors in beast mode rather than robot mode. The Predicons have historically been on the losing side in the conflict, but here the two are evenly matched because one of them, Dinobot, changed sides after a failed attempt to usurp Megatron. He has his old Predicon instincts, but he also has a strong sense of warrior's honor, so when defeated by Optimus, he has agreed to follow his lead. He just doesn't quite understand it sometimes, like right now, when Optimus is interested in studying this plant, while hostile enemy robots could be lying in wait. But Optimus will not be deterred from his plan of looking at this plant for science.
But very well, if have it you must. Stand aside, I'll blast it out.
We never got to use explosives in my botany class. I feel cheated. But Optimus does it the boring way, although admittedly he uses his hand-like feet. I guess it means he really does have all the ape abilities. I'm looking forward to seeing him throwing poop at Megatron later. Speaking of throwing, the plant tosses a big-ass spore into Dinobot's back where he can't reach it.
You see? That's how it spreads its seed. We've learned something.
And knowing is half the Wait, sorry, wrong franchise. But the science lesson is interrupted by the attacking Scorponok, no relation to the G1 Scorponok, who often craftily seized control of the Decepticons. No, this Scorponok is fiercely loyal, and kinda dumb. But he does get the jump on them while they're still in their non-weapon-toting beast forms, so even after transforming, Dinobot gets pinned. Again, after I made all those jokes about James Franco. Ironic. Optimus takes Scorponok out of the picture, but not before a giant fly gets stuck to his chest, leading to much confrontation back at the ship with Cheetor ready to fight Dinobot over this. But Rat Trap steps in. And you know you're being stupid when Rat Trap tells you to knock it off, because he's basically the team dickhead. This thing is some kind of mine that will explode when detached, and even if Optimus somehow survived that, his life functions are routed through it, so merely removing it will kill him. So he's stuck like that guy with the little mutant in Total Recall. But while they discuss what to do, Optimus busts out full of piss and vinegar. Seems that while the device was intended to make Optimus a coward, Scorponok, being an idiot, caused him to do precisely the opposite. Though admittedly it's probably not helped that he had to build an extremely complex technical device using only claws for hands. They lock him up for now, but Optimus thinks that he's getting a handle on this thing and can use it to their advantage, an idea that Dinobot came up to independently, but for a completely different reason. Scorponok will have an antidote.
Villains always have antidotes. They're funny that way.
Cheetor and Optimus are behind that plan, but Rat Trap and Rhinox are worried that he might lose it. But come on, guys, what's the worst that can happen?
Stupid slagging circuit systems! Shut up!
All right, tell me about these feelings that you have. Have you tried punching a pillow, tearing a phone book in half, kicking Rat Trap's ass, healthy expressions of your anger? They try monkey piling him, but that just seems to encourage him, so he throws them off and storms out to attack the Predicon base single-handed. Well, Cheetor is ready to join in, but even Dinobot thinks that would be a terrible idea. An attack needs strategy, not some guerrilla Leroy Jenkins thing. He thinks the only option is to follow Optimus's example of leadership. Before he flipped out, of course. Negotiate. Unfortunately, it puts Cheetor in charge of that, who has only slightly more diplomatic skills than Rat Trap, who could get himself kicked in the balls by Gandhi. All Cheetor succeeds in doing is tipping off the Predicons that Optimus is coming, taking away the element of surprise that is the difference between an ill-advised assault and a suicide mission. Pain is weakness leaving the body. Optimus has gotten tough. Holy Christ, Optimus don't fuck around, does he?
Waspinator, stop Optimus now!
Waspinator regrets losing rock, paper, scissors. For a guy with a Terminator homage in his name, he doesn't seem well equipped for dealing with Maximals. Speaking of which, they arrive in time to draw forces outside, leaving even fewer to get between Optimus and his goal. Probably the antidote, but who knows? He might be here just to try to punch out what's left of the ship. Nope, looks like he wants the antidote, but Megatron has it and gives the ultimatum. Join me or die. Unfortunately for Megatron, he doesn't consider that death is something that matters to people who aren't consumed by violent rage. So Optimus just yanks off the mine and throws it at Megatron's back like that plant did with the spore. But before Optimus shuts down completely, Cheetor arrives, grabs the antidote, and gives it Quentin Tarantino style, bringing Optimus back from the brink. That just leaves... Well, unless this has got Looney Tunes logic to it, I'd say those two are dead. When Optimus comes to, Dinobot is watching over him, and has even left him a blooming flower potted next to him. I think it might be true love. This episode feels like a good step forward for Dinobot's character. He seems to be more open to Optimus' way of thinking as the episode goes on. And throughout he seems concerned about preserving Optimus' existence rather than either using him towards Dinobot's own ends or allowing him to die and assuming the role of leader that he had originally wanted. This episode is also notable in introducing the spark to the world of the Transformers, the soul, for lack of a better term, that each one has. Optimus refers to it as that as he's shutting down, and it would be brought up later in the series, including an explanation for why Starscream can exist as a ghost. If you haven't seen the cartoon, long story. The episode was enjoyable, but I'm a bit disappointed that there would be no consequences with that bomb. Not only are Megatron and Scorponok fine next episode, there's no mention of what happened, as if every day they're at ground zero of an explosion powerful enough to tear an armored hull. But still, it is fun to see Optimus lose it and smack people around.
Oh, yes! Then why not end this here and now, Megatron?